We talk to many women who are breast cancer survivors, and they share their tips and advice with other women. But what about the caregiver? What about our husbands, our significant others? Rob Harris is joining us. He is the caregiver to a 2-time cancer survivor, his wife. Rob, what's it like to be a caregiver?
I would say the first thing that comes to mind is it's extremely scary. In the very beginning, you're going to be interacting with doctors. You're going to be hearing medical terminologies you are absolutely not familiar with. It's kind of like going into a foreign country and not knowing how to speak the language. It's very, very frightening in the beginning. But in time, you learn and you adjust and you begin to develop strategies that can help your patient, help your loved one. And so it's an evolution more than anything else.
Rob, how did becoming a caregiver change your life?
This may sound very unusual. It has never been better. I've never enjoyed life more. I've never appreciated life more. My wife and I have a phrase that we developed right after she had a very bad episode where she actually passed away in front of me. And fortunately, the doctors brought her back to life. But the very next day, she and I made a vow, and it's called, it may sound strange, it's called every stinking day. And that sounds negative, but it's actually positive. What we basically say to each other is, every stinking day, we're going to live each day as if it's our last. And from that moment on, when she passed away and came back, we have done that. And we have never been happier or more appreciative of life. Being a caregiver for me has been the best experience I've had other than having my children and getting married to the bride of my dreams.
Oh my gosh, Rob, to witness your wife passing in front of you and by the grace of God coming back, I mean, thank goodness. I too live by a saying, mine is carpe diem, and so I know what you mean, living each day. And I know it's okay to have some fun too, isn't it?
If you go through a caregiver's life acting like people expect you to act, which is sad and morose and downtrodden and beaten, you're going to feel that way, you're going to behave that way, and your patient will too. Neither of you are going to have a zest for life. We ended up being very disappointed when my wife was in the hospital one time because we ended up having to stay for at least 2 weeks. And it happened to be during the Christmas holiday, which for our family is very, very important. We enjoy it. What was interesting was I said to myself, I am not going to let my wife be depressed because she can't enjoy Christmas. So one time while she was on chemotherapy and in a rather deep sleep, I ran over to local Target store, which was near the hospital, and I purchased everything you can imagine for Christmas. And while she slept, I decorated the room from head to toe. The door became gift wrapped with a ribbon and a bow. Her chemo pole became a Christmas tree with just enough room for the saline solution and for the chemo itself to be hanging so the nurses could get to it. But the whole room was decorated, lights, bulbs, and everything, which really became fun because after my wife woke up and she was so excited to see that, which made my day even better. I had a ball just doing that and seeing her face when she woke up. We made the holiday really enjoyable. But then when she had to do her physical therapy and go out into the hallway, she had to take her chemo pole with her. And when she did, it was like having a Christmas tree behind her. And I also had my laptop with me, and I started playing Christmas music, and it got the attention of all the doctors, all the nurses, everybody that was there. It became a really fun time, and we had more doctors and nurses visiting us in our room just to sit and talk with us because we turned our room into a happy place as opposed to what most people expect, which is downtrodden.
For a person who's becoming a caregiver for the very first time, what's the most important piece of advice that you could offer them?
What piece of advice I would give is the one thing I did not do. I did not connect with others. I went it alone. Pride got in my way. I was a martyr. I wanted to show my wife I was strong, and so I didn't seek out others. I thought I could do it all myself. Big mistake. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Get the sleep you can possibly get. Exercise if you can. Eat right. This is a marathon. Without a doubt, one of the most exhausting, yes, rewarding, but one of the most exhausting things I've ever done. So the two things I would advise for a new caregiver is be selfish and take care of yourself. And the second thing is learn, learn, learn. Every chance you can, learn everything there is to know about the medical malady that your loved one is suffering from. and what you can do to assist as a caregiver. Connect with other caregivers, read books like the book I've written. I wrote it for people just like myself who needed that help. So please get the information you need and have fun and take care of yourself.
This experience has given you the opportunity to write a book titled We're All in This Together. Tell us about it.
The book has to do with my wife's 2 episodes of cancer. And the reason why I wrote about it was because each episode was rather different from the other. The first one wasn't as bad. I was able to do work. I was able to have people help me out, but it wasn't as traumatic. The second part of the book was extremely traumatic, where my wife was not, it was not anticipated that she was going to live through the event. And what I learned about the medical community and what I learned about being a caregiver was dramatic. I wasn't really planning to write a book. I was talked into writing a book. They said, write a chapter, see what happens. So I wrote a chapter and I said, you know what, this is valuable. People need to understand this. So what my book is about is, it's a love story really about my wife and myself and how we went through the many years of cancer treatment that she went through and how we did it together. And along the way, there are many tips, almost 70 tips interspersed in the book for caregivers directly that relate to something I learned from one of the stories that I share. A tip is always involved, and that's what it is. So at the end of the book, you'll virtually know everything there is to know in general about how to be a caregiver.
Rob, you have been so gracious to share many of your tips with our viewers, and we truly appreciate it. But I also know that you have one goal that you've left out that you're going to share with us now. What is that?
Well, it's actually more than a goal for me. It's a passion. This has become what I live for. I get so much pleasure out of sharing information with caregivers, with patients, with the medical community. I created a blog. I started to get a number of people that were interested in reading it. I'm on Facebook. I have a fan page. I have many people that are paying attention to that and interacting with me regularly. On Twitter, I'm there. People write to me. I've got over 4,000 followers, but if somebody writes me a question, I want to be able to answer it for them. I want them to feel good, and I'm getting patients from all over the world asking me questions and caregivers from all over the world, and that is my passion. I want to get in front of as many people as I can to help. There are more people out there that need help that are too proud to ask or don't know where to go to get help. I want to get in front of anybody and everybody I possibly can to make their lives a little bit easier and more so a little happier. Hi, my name is Rob Harris. I am a caregiver to a 2-time cancer survivor. Since then, I've written a book about caregiving. It's called We're in This Together, A Caregiver's Story. It'll be out in April of this year. If you'd like to learn more about me and read some of my blogs, you can find me at www.robcares.com. That's all lowercase letters, www.robcares.com.